Thank you for joining me on this next video. I'm here to talk to you about my February reads. It was another kind of slower month, so I only got 5 books for you today. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So the first book that I started February off with, after Onyx Storm, I don't know if I could say it was a promise, but it's basically a promise to my sister to finish this series that I told her to read and then she really got into, and so she finished it before me. It was Zodiac Academy 9. I'm not going to go into too much of what those books are about, because this was the last book in that series, and so if you haven't read the series, I'm not going to spoil it for you where this one starts off. I will say though that the whole series overall is about these twin sisters who live a normal life in the mortal realm up until they're 18, and then they are basically found by the Fae, and the Fae tell them, oh, you're actually a Fae and you have powers, you need to come to this school. And so then they come to this school, Zodiac Academy, to learn how to use their powers, and the story kind of goes on from there. I'm not going to go too much more into anything like that. It is like a romantasy, so both sisters end up with romance, and then there's even some other romance sprinkled in as well. But the overall plot of the story is a big war that ends up happening, and that's literally all I'm going to tell you. I gave the last one 5 stars. It is literally my favorite series of all time. I do have the physical book, but because the rest of my books are not physical books, I just thought I would put the cover here. But yeah, I love this series so much. And if you like romantasy, if you enjoy magical creatures and magic systems, I highly recommend this series for you. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So Zodiac Academy 9, 5 stars for me. Then I went into a lot of arc reading. So the first book after Zodiac Academy is the first book in a series that I got the arc for the second book. And that is Remnants of Riley by A.M. Wagner. This story is a romance. I would say it's a romance with darker themes, not quite a dark romance, but like a romance with darker themes, because there are darker things that happen in this book. So it follows Riley and Emmett, and Riley is this girl who just got out of a really abusive relationship, and she moves back to live with her live in the same city as her best friend. So she was living in, I believe it was Utah or Colorado, where she had her abusive relationship, and she was like engaged and everything, and then she left him to go, and then she moved back to Washington DC, and that's where she kind of starts living her life again, because her best friend Tracy is there. And so she is going to buy a house, and Tracy is a realtor, her best friend's a realtor, and she's trying to close the deal, but ends up having to work with Emmett. Emmett is another realtor that works in the same brokerage as Tracy, and so that's how they meet. Yeah, I know. So it's a romance. It was really cute. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think by the end, I guess you could consider it a dark romance, kind of. I mean, it's definitely there's really dark themes in there. So definitely check the trigger warnings. Make sure you know beforehand what is going to happen, because there's a lot that happens in this book that could be triggering. But I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. So then the next book was the second book in that series, Taunting Tracy, which is Tracy's story. And that was an arc. And it released on the 26th of February, so it's out now. You can go read it. But I gave it 4 stars. It follows Tracy and Blake. And basically Tracy's a realtor. Blake is the broker that she works for. And it's a workplace forbidden romance kind of thing. But the whole thing is that you kind of find out that they had a relationship before. So it starts off, the book starts after Remnants of Riley, like right after, but then the rest of the book is kind of like 5 years in the past of when they used to be, like when they met and stuff, and then they developed a romantic relationship. And then it ends with that romantic relationship of where it ends, and then it's like 5 years past to go to the present. So I'm assuming there's going to be another book for them. I think I don't actually remember the name of the book, but there is going to be a third book. It comes out in March, and it's still going to follow Tracy and Blake, but I think it's going to finish up their story in, now this is just I don't actually know if this is what happens, but I'm assuming it's going to jump forward again to the present and follow them through the current timeline. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where that one goes. I gave Counting Tracy 4 stars, so a pretty solid series. Both books that I read so far, 4 stars, and I really did enjoy it, and I'm really excited for the next one. Then next I ended up reading Cross My Heart by Shea Ruby. That was also an arc that I had got because I am on Shea Ruby's street team, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It did come out already. It came out on February 28th, which was my birthday, and so it was a nice little birthday gift for me, kind of. So it's out now. You can go read it. I really enjoy it. Shea Ruby writes male-male romances, so this was a male-male romance. It follows Noah and Tyler, and basically Noah is in the military. He's in the army, I believe. It's like a specialized army though, specialized force in the army, something like that. And Tyler is living at home, and the whole thing is that it starts off with 3 best friends. So you have Noah, Tyler, and Scarlett, and you kind of start the book when they meet, when they're like 12, I think is when they started meeting, and it kind of goes through their friendship through time. And so eventually you get to a point where 2 of them are together, and then but Noah and Tyler want to be together. So Scarlett ends up with one of them. I don't know if it's really a spoiler. Scarlett ends up with Tyler, and they are together throughout most of their adult life, but Tyler wants to be with Noah and Noah wants to be with Tyler. And so it's this like whole dynamic of, you know, who does Tyler really want to be with? And it's kind of like a bi-awakening, and it's kind of like this whole thing. And there is cheating in this book. There is cheating trope, so I know that's kind of like a turn off for a lot of people, but to me, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the cheating trope. Like, it's not really my cup of tea. I just think that, like, I just don't find the purpose in cheating in real life. Even like if you don't want to be with somebody, like, break it off. But I think because I got Tyler's point of view in this book, like, I really understood his mentality of why it happened and why it occurred. And so not to say that it was okay, but just like I can see why it happened. And you know, I still think it was a really good book. It was really emotional. There's a lot of things that happen in it that are super emotional. So definitely, if you're gonna read it and you are an emotional person, expect to cry. Like, it'll happen. I'm not even that emotional of a person, and I still cried because it was just, there are some parts that were really, really sad. So, Cross My Heart, Shea Ruby. I gave it 4.5 stars. I don't know if I said that already. But I really enjoyed it, and you can go read it now. You know, I just think Shea does a really good job at making these really emotional, impactful stories that you kind of linger with you and make you think a little bit more. So, yeah, highly recommend. And then to end off February, I ended with another arc. It was Into Ruin by S. Massery. I gave it 5 stars. It's just a little novella. I'm not gonna lie, I don't normally rate novellas, but I did rate this one 5 stars, and it follows Camden and Harper. So if you've read S. Massery's Sorry, I'm a little congested. But if you've read S. Mastery's Hockey God series, then in Fierce Obsession, there's a new character that kind of comes in. His name's Camden Church, and he's in that book like as another teammate of the NHL team. And he kind of, I don't remember exactly his involvement in the story. I think he helps them out in something. So you kind of get a glimpse that he may be morally gray. And so that's exactly what S. Mastery does. She writes morally gray male characters and makes you fall in love with them. But yeah, so S. Mastery, Interior and 5 Stars, Camden and Harper. It's basically Harper is his, so this takes place when Camden's in college and he meets his best friend's, who's also his teammate, his sister, and his sister meets Camden but doesn't realize who it is. And I guess he was like a big hotshot on the campus because he's already like drafted into NHL and everything, so he thought she knew who he was, but she didn't. But basically yeah, it just follows them, and they end up having like, I wouldn't call it a relationship. It was more like they were just, you know, sleeping with each other. But I think there's going to be another book. I think it's called Ruined God, if I remember correctly, and it's supposed to come out next year. And so this is the prequel to it, and it kind of gets you set up for that book. I really enjoyed it. It was a really easy, fast read. It comes out on March 6th, so depending on when I post this, it may not be out yet, but if it's not, then it comes out March 6th, so you can expect to see it then. If it is after March 6th, then it's already out. You can go read it right now. It's just a cute little novella, and like I said, very fast, easy read. So yeah, those are my 5 books for February. Pretty quick and easy month, and a lot of arcs in this month. So I'm kind of hoping that for March, I am starting off March with an arc, and I think I have another one coming. Actually, it probably should have came today as I'm filming this. I'll have to check that. But so I think I have a couple arcs coming this month. So that kind of, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of missing being able to read whatever I want to read whenever I want to read it. And so I'm hoping that I can kind of get back into that in March. Because as you saw, like with the 5 books I read in February, if you've been keeping up with me, then you can see that I did not read any of my TBR picks, TBR jar picks. And so I really want to get to those, and I really want to read a lot of different books. And so I'm really hoping that in March, you know, the arcs will kind of slow down and I can do that. I will say, I think going forward, I'm not going to really apply for any new arcs. I'm only going to stick to ones that are like, I'm on their street team and I'm getting them, you know, like I think I'm going to just stick to those for now. But yeah, so speaking of the TBR jar, let's go ahead and get an update on that. It's not much of an update because as I said, you know, I already like finished it or didn't finish it, as you saw with my update of February reads. So I still have these 4 books. I'm not going to, so I know I said even if I didn't finish them, I would still pull like maybe one more book into it, but I'm not going to do that because here's the thing. I've now done 2 months where I didn't read these, and they're still here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just keep them like this until I read them. So like if I read, say even I read 2 next month, then I'll add 1 more in March. But I think for now I'm gonna just keep these 4 and just read these 4 until I'm done with them, basically. So this is gonna be my TBR jar, so I'm not gonna pick any more. But yeah, so that's kind of my update. It's kind of not a big update, but hopefully I can read more. I have felt like I have been taking a little longer lately to read books, and I think it's just because I've had other things going on. Like I had my birthday, so I went to Disneyland and I wasn't reading while I was away because I was just busy doing other things and celebrating my birthday. But I'm hoping to read more in March, but we'll see. I also need to study for a certification I'm trying to get for my career, so that might slow me down also, but we'll see. If you're keeping up with me, then you'll kind of see I kind of go in waves. There are some months that are better, some months that are not. Like February is a short month, so actually 5 books is kind of good if you really think about it. But like in January I did 5 books, but it was because like I knew Onyx Storm was coming, so I didn't want to like start any big series. And that's another thing too. I've been a little afraid of starting series that aren't completed because I don't want to forget what's going to happen. But there are a lot of series that I have like the first book and I really want to read them and start them. So I think I need to just get over that fear and just dive right into them also. But yeah, so hopefully March will be a better reading month, but I look at it as at least I'm reading. So I hope you had a great reading month for February, and if not, then I hope you have a better month for March. But if you've been watching till this part, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And maybe if you've watched to this part, leave a what should you leave in the comments? Leave a maybe like the emoji with the heart eyes, since February was, you know, all about Valentine's Day. Let's go ahead and do that. If you have watched this part and want to leave a comment in the below, you can leave a comment with the emoji with the heart eyes, and I'll know that you've watched the whole thing. But until then, until the next time, thank you for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying my videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.